iPhone X versus Android's best, a surprisingly lopsided affair. The Galaxy Note 8 is an incredible phone. Back when I reviewed it for PCWorld I gave it the highest possible score and raved about its display, still the greatest I've seen in Android phone. The dual camera delivered impressive portraits and lush landscapes, and the battery powered through the busiest of days. In short, it was the best phone I had ever used, and I thought it would be a long while before anything topped it. I was wrong. Apple's iPhone X not only beats the Note 8, it practically makes it seem obsolete. I've tested a wide array of Android handsets over the past 12 months, and I can confidently say that none are in the same league as Apple's newest handset. And only a couple come close. The Galaxy Note 8 is an extraordinary phone, but iPhone X beats it in every category. Quite frankly, it's hard to even describe how much better iPhone X is without using it for a stretch of time, and most Android fans will never get that chance. That's a shame. It wasn't until I spent a day or two with iPhone X, going back and forth with the Note 8, Google Pixel 2 XL, and LG V30, that I could see just how much of a triumph it is. Samsung might need its own Note X just to catch up. Before we debate the benefits of the notch, let's talk about the display. Yes, Apple is playing catch-up here. Android phones have been using OLED displays for years, and while Apple might have made the best smartphone LCDs in the business, they were still a notch below the superior color handling and power efficiency of the best OLED phones from Samsung and Google. So, I didn't expect to be blown away by Apple's first OLED. As I said, iPhone displays have always been superior, and I assumed iPhone X would be more of the same, a marginal improvement over iPhone 8's already great True-Tone screen, and on par with what I saw with the Note 8. That's not the case. Apple has worked wonders with its Samsung-sourced OLED display for iPhone X. It's accurate without being dull, bright without being harsh. And while the Note 8 screen is technically brighter based on my light meter tests, iPhone X is just as readable in direct sunlight. And with True Tone turned on, I don't even have to manually increase the brightness. Keep in mind this is out-of-the-box calibration. With Android phones, I generally spend a few minutes cycling through the various screen modes to find the most pleasing one. With iPhone X there aren't any settings or switches to play with. While the Note 8's Quad HD 1440p display is again technically superior to the iPhone X 1125p one, that advantage is neutralized by Apple's tremendous calibration. Even if I could adjust the colors, I wouldn't. The Pixel 2 XL's bluish screen, left, is much more obvious when compared to the Note 8, center, and iPhone X, right. And it puts the Pixel 2 XL and LG V30 to shame, both of which have LG-made displays. The V30's screen has similar issues as the Pixel 2 XL, which have been well documented, but they are amplified next to iPhone X. While my Pixel 2 XL test unit hasn't exhibited any image retention, it does have a noticeable blue hue that overtakes every color, even at slight angles. But aside from that, there's no denying the overall dullness of it. Even with the new boosted and saturated settings switched on, there's still a general flatness to the display that's hard to miss when compared to iPhone X. And little things I overlooked about the Note 8, particularly the smoothness of animations thanks to iPhone X's 120Hz touch sample rate, became glaringly and distractingly obvious. I do prefer the size of the other phones, particularly the 6.3-inch Note 8, and I'm hoping the rumors of a plus size next year are true. Also, I very much miss the always-on display when using an iPhone X, something that's a staple on Android flagships. But to say that iPhone X has the best display I've ever used might actually be selling it short. It's likely to be better than the ones in next year's crop of Android phones too. My pick, iPhone X 2017, has been something of a watershed year for smartphone design. While it was starting to seem as though we were approaching the limits of what could be done with glass rectangles, iPhone included, Samsung, LG, Essential, and others pushed the envelope by dramatically trimming the bezels and tweaking the standard 16:9 screen ratio to make their phones easier to hold and use. Apple follows that path with iPhone X, but also manages to break new ground. Lying on a table, iPhone X looks a lot like LG's V30, with a wraparound chrome edge sandwiched by two pieces of curved glass. But while the V30 and most other 18:9 Android flagships have slivers of glass above and below the screen, iPhone X is the first to truly go all-screen. Now, you can quibble over that characterization since there is a healthy bezel going around the entire edge of the display.